What up, Wheatfield? Put some color on here. We gotta have some color. We got the crown covered today. Y'all, I got the energy of anger. I am being told to give voice to your anger. We are feeling the energy of giving voice to your anger. Hey, Miss Monica, thank you so much for tapping in. I'm trying to get the comments so that I can see. Hopefully, they stay right there. Little bell ringing energy. Thank you so much. Hey, Divinely Protected. Thank you so much for tapping in. I appreciate y'all. I have to keep my phone up like this so I can see the comments. Otherwise, I won't be able to see y'all. Today, the spirit gave us the energy of anger, right? Like we definitely have some things that we are. Um, can I do it? What am I doing? Oh, we could. We could like our own video. Hey, Seed of David. Thanks so much for tapping in. I appreciate you. Um, Spirit said, give voice to your anger. Like to speak honestly. They say, look, I got the 3 points right here. Voice to your anger. Speak powerfully. Speak honestly is what they wrote. Speak powerfully and speak honestly. So, hey sis, hey Veronica, thank you so much for tapping in. Everybody that's coming in, Spirit said, give voice to your anger because it's just not good to not allow it to. Now, hold on for a second. Thank you. It's not good to kind of hold it in and not give expression. Affirmation, right to that. Hey sis, hey, thank you so much, Michelle Fernandez. Thank you guys so much for tapping in. Life Mantra Tarot is in the house. Beautiful soul. Veronica from Aya's Inspired Tarot. Beautiful soul. Beautiful people. Everybody that's tapping in. Just thank you so much for coming through and supporting the channel. I think it's like sometimes we kind of get a sentiment when we are angry and we need to express it. And it's like, how do we do that in a way that's kind of like responsible, powerful, honestly, right? Without necessarily attacking a person, right? But to attack the thing. Testimony to Terrell, y'all know we was in a car crash. And we are angry because the insurance company has a track record of not of downgrading people's oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Yep, let that sit in your spirit, sis. But we got a message from our person, right? Not our person. The person that's handling the claim and told us that they didn't feel that our injuries were significant enough to cover bodily injuries. And we said, well, we just got out of the ER yesterday. That was our second visit for complications due to seat belt syndrome. And it's how did you come up with this determination? And she couldn't give any answer. We were reassigned to a new adjuster, and that was what they came back with. This is with Allstate. So Allstate, for some reason, they start coming across my feed, like in legislation in Congress, and the fact that they're being sued for downgrading people's claims and denying them the benefits that they're paying for. So the policyholders are not getting the benefits of exactly total BS. So my cousin who has Allstate, and I was in his vehicle, the person that caused the accident was found at fault and they don't have insurance. So it goes back to my cousin's insurance because he has uninsured motorist coverage, and that's supposed to cover my bodily injuries because I was a passenger in his car. Um, yeah, they told me that just based off the initial hospital visit, right? And again, we talk about all the time, melanin people, and we said this. Why we needed to document the injury progression is because some things can show up later, not on the initial visit. And especially with seatbelt syndrome, within 3 to 5 days, you can really develop some serious complications, which ended us back in the urgent care and who sent us back to ER. So all of that being said, she never asked me, was there any follow-up visits? She never asked me, did I have any other diagnoses? She didn't ask me if I had any other diagnostic scans. Yeah, and that's where I'm going. So my cousin is already getting lawyered up. He's already lawyered up. And he's going to, pursue a lawsuit against them, right? And it was like, I was telling him, like, do you know that they are in legal battle right now for people saying the same thing? Like, he pays $5,000 every 6 months for coverage. So what the hell we know profits, right? In Congress, it was revealed that their profits was like at 62 fucking $million or some shit. Actually, it was more than that. I want to say it was in the billions because one of their executives was paid out like 24 or 26 million, and they were refusing coverage like after hurricane storms and stuff like that, and people's roofs and destruction to their property. The first claim adjuster would say it's this much damage, and then they would reassign the case to somebody else who would downgrade it and then refuse to pay out. Yeah, it's a damn scam. It's a fraud. So they are literally going through litigation right now for fraud. Yeah, see, you have to get a lawyer, and that's crazy. Like, I can't drive on the road without having vehicle insurance. But when I'm paying for something that's not going to pay out the benefit when I'm hurt. Yeah, look, $16.5 billion. That's crazy. In profit. Profit. That is above cost. That's above, everything that it takes to operate the business. That's 16.5 billion in profit. That's insane. Where their executives are getting paid 26 million. So yeah, I'm giving voice to anger today, right? Because that's just that if we don't speak up as a consumership, as a populace who are buying and purchasing these policies because we're required to do so, and then they screw us and scam us at the end of the day when something happens because somebody else was negligent, it doesn't, whatever the case may be, right? If you are covered under your policy, then you should get the benefit of what you're paying for. And the fact that we have to lawyer up and have all these additional expenses, go through all the other pain and suffering on top of being in an accident is absolutely ridiculous. So we're just using our space to give voice to the anger. Spirit said, voice to your anger, speak powerfully and speak honestly. That's what we're getting. The contractor you spoke to last week said the insurance companies were doing hinky things to Yeah, they are. They're definitely doing it. Like, again, it's whistleblowers in, Allstate sending letters, and then people testifying, adjusters, people who go out to, review the claim, to review the damages and do the assessment and write up the report and how much needs to be covered, like what is the estimates. They are literally being told to remove information, to falsify their documents. Right, this is their testimonies. And whistleblowers coming forth to say this is what's happening. Not only are people being retaliated against, for coming forward and speaking out, and they are like kind of like being blackballed in a market where they have a hard time either working with other companies or contracting. It's crazy. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely happening. So Spirit said, give voice to your anger. I don't know, like I would have to research and consider, like, how do we come together as a collective and do, like, how do they start Class A lawsuits? You know what I mean? How do we do that and organize ourselves, even if it's purchasing power, right? It's very difficult in this day to boycott certain companies because they're such conglomerates, right? Before you know it, this company is owned by this company, or your choices have been condensed, so you really don't have a lot of options. Yeah, and with vehicle insurance, what are you going to do? You have to carry it unless you're going to go through the whole process of, stepping back, renouncing your citizenship, going into becoming a private sovereign entity, living in the United States of America Republic, not the corporation, right? And it's like being able to operate in that way. And that takes a lot of education. You talking about training and understanding your rights so that you are never giving away your jurisdiction, so that you are, operating appropriately, because it's a very fine line and sticky situation when people start to exercise their right to become a sovereign person, not necessarily the straw man entity that was created with your birth certificate and your social security number. So it's a whole lot that goes into that, because again, we live in a country, we have the ability to travel. So I shouldn't need to have an operator's driver's license that's different in every fucking state. I shouldn't have to have insurance policies that's different in every fucking state when it's required nationally, so they say, to travel in the corporation of the United States. But as being a individual in the Republic of the United States, I have a right to travel, and you cannot impede my right to travel. I have a right to travel with my property, which would include my vehicle, right? So I don't have any contracts with the state, right? So the state doesn't have jurisdiction over me as a person, a private entity, or my property. But that is a very different like set of rules and operating in the country that a lot of people are kind of leaning towards. But it takes a lot of education, a lot of training, a lot of awareness in order to operate like that. So I just, look, I'm just upset. I'm like, we get scammed all the freaking time. Like, we're paying for stuff that we don't get the benefit of. They're keeping all the freaking profits. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, privatizing everything. And that's what we're in the process of learning. How do we prioritize everything? The Spirit said they want this deck. Thank you to the Most High God for bringing this message. Right? Let it fill us. Let it strengthen us to bear the yoke that's on our shoulders so that we can navigate these processes. Help give rise to the anger that we are feeling and use it in the most appropriate way. Allow us to galvanize this energy and help us move it towards change. We thank you so much for strengthening us to bear this yoke that's on our shoulders. Allow us to overflow. Yes, allow us to give voice and rise using this platform for anybody who may come across it, who may hear it, who may see it, and be like-minded. Attract them and magnetize them to this space. Fill them and strengthen them spiritually to bear the yoke you have placed upon their shoulders and have them overflow, and we meet in the middle. It's given collective power is what it's given. It is given we the people is what it's given. It's like we are sick and tired. Look, I'm gonna take that back because I don't want to claim sickness. We are angry and we seek an avenue in order to use that anger to move us forward, right? We claim wholeness, we claim restoration, we claim recovery for anybody who has been done wrong, who has had their rights violated, who are paying into, these services that are required in order for us to operate and to function, only for them to siphon and to steal and to scam and to make profits off of. I'm trying not to use the negative words, y'all. I'm trying to look, because they profit off of our health, right? Is a profit system. Our travel is a profit system. Education is a profit system. Nutrition is a profit system. Housing is a profit system. Everything is a profit system. Everything, right? Taxation. You pay how much taxes on your income? Like, by the time I pay federal, state, city, county, Social Security, medical costs, dental, vision, long-term disability, short-term disability, all of that shit, my paycheck is taxed to what? And then after that is like taxes on utilities, on goods. Like, your overall tax is ridiculous. Yeah, yeah. It is. It's definitely not about unity. And it's like, 50 different small little spaces that are operating differently. And like there's no consistency against pretty much most of it. So, spiritual birth coming through. I don't know who else is angry or feeling this type of emotion, right? And people can like be like, you're not supposed to operate out of anger, but anger is galvanizing. Anger is one of those energies that you can use to. Not only does it fire you up, does it ignite passion, does it help people come together and move forward for change, right? It is a emotion that can unite us around an issue, and we can change things when we use that collective power. Yes, it's definitely a driving force. It's absolutely a driving force. You want to look at it? No. Yeah, see, look at that inspiration, and it's fire. Yeah, heaven forbid you need help. Every program takes 30% of your income, nearly impossible to break free. Yeah, yeah, revolutionary energy. Yeah, yeah. See, look, that's that inspiration. Look, it's time for some shit to change. It's time to end some shit, restart some shit, renew some shit, all of it. That's what I'm getting. Cause I look, this right here, you talking about stress, anxiety, like so many people are suffering from mental health issues and all of this shit because just the conditions that we live in, and it shouldn't have to be so hard. It's like why our ability to take authority and take a stance, right, and be able to come together and organize in a very powerful way, it could definitely move us to a new beginning. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting. It could be risky. It's definitely risky, but it's given. Yeah. Watch themselves get enslaved. We didn't watch ourselves get enslaved, beloved. We didn't really have a choice. Okay? That's not like, oh, we just stood back and watched it happen. No, no. We didn't necessarily have a choice. And in slavery, look, okay? We didn't necessarily have the power to stop it from happening, right? In every situation. So slavery was not only an American thing in this country, it is something that happened globally. Like we had slaves, my ancestors were shipped to not only to the Americas, but also to the Middle East, to China, to the UK. Like it was, is absolutely not. Right? So I would invite you to just study. You know what I mean? It's very different, easy to make an assertion when you don't have the knowledge because opinions are the lowest form of knowledge. But once you are studied, then you can make an educated opinion because you've read and did some study on the issue. So we're not going to go down that road, beloved. No, I appreciate you and I appreciate your viewpoint, but it just comes from a place of not knowing, right? Of not understanding, of not knowing, of not understanding. So, and all of these institutions are based on that, right? It is based, like our police system is based on slave patrols to capture individuals. Um, you're not talking about transatlantic slavery. Well, which slave trade? Because again, transatlantic was not the only one, right? It's like again, a lot of the institutions were born out of that era. And the Emancipation Proclamation really did not free us, it just changed the dynamics where all of us were kind of swept up underneath the same system. Yeah, see, all of us as a collective. Oh, the modern day slavery. Yeah, it would be. That is something that we could do something about. But it would take collective energy, which we're talking about. Look at this Ace of Wands. Like that fire, that drive, right? To be able to move forward and do it in a very bold way, right? Just imagine if everybody in the USA did not go to work for a day. What if they didn't go to work for 2, 3 days, a week? In France, when they were like, we need the government to stop and listen because we're not going to continue to work and live in these conditions, they sat out of work for 2, 3 weeks or some shit like that. Changed the whole country. They made them sit down and listen. This country is so divided between all the separatisms that are in place to make us feel like we're different, right? And not to be funny in any kind of way, but we just gonna speak brass tacks here. We, you know what I mean? It's conversation. So when you can make a person who is very much financially impoverished feel more powerful than a person of my ethnicity who may have high education, financially secure. You put them in a group, a class that's been fabricated and created for the sake of the illusion of supremacy, right? And then you set a caste system that it gives a it's like I'm seeing cognitive dissonance. I'm seeing brainwashing, right? I'm seeing years, hundreds of years of social conditioning. Hundreds of years of social conditioning. So it's not like, some shit that happened overnight. No. We are talking about from the get. You know what I mean? That people were literally taught that they have a different or superior position to others. Yeah, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like when you collectively take that power back and decide we're not going to do that. You're talking about your electricity bill. I just analyzed our water bill. Water bill, right? Something that comes drops out of the sky for free. But the fact that we need sewer treatment and delivery through, a public water system to deliver it to your house, the sewer treatment is $95. By the time you add all of the service fees and the taxes, that's another $45. So no matter how much water we use in this household, my bill will never be less than $145 a month. Oh yeah, division across the board in every area, right? From the beginning. Yeah. The 1619 project, yes. Look, we can get into some historical references in this country. We know, right, that it's been sustained legal eugenics, genocide, supreme like humanity violation. What I'm trying to get, human rights violations, right? It's just, but some of it for some reason is allowed because of the color of my skin. Like they allow it. They don't think there's anything wrong with it. Why? Because technically a lot of people don't see me as human. And that's one thing that I'm getting down to about the insurance claim. It is a thing with medical malpractice. It is a thing with medical experimentation. It is a thing with just like not believing that we feel pain. It is a thing all that goes all the way back to slavery in this country, where black women would have babies and they tell you like in the field like they would have to and then like keep on fucking trucking and working. They act like we don't feel pain. Medical experiments for women's bodies, like pap smear shit and all that, was experimented on black women. They presume that we don't feel pain. Like our pain complex or tolerance is like way different on some super level, superhuman type shit. Now we got supernatural gifts. We know that we do, but we ain't the only ethnicity that got it. But at the end of the day, me feeling pain is a natural human thing. Yes, Sarah Bartman. Look, you talking about still current day experimentation on people. You still I just watched a video where this man literally videotaped that his son was doing fine, recovering. They are asking to remove him from the hospital to transfer him somewhere else because he was stable and they were not happy with the care that he was receiving. The doctors came in, gave him a shot through his IV, and all of a sudden that boy started dying. Mother is sitting up there trying to give her son CPR and keep her son alive, all while the doctors are standing near the door. The father is asking them to come and help, and they will not even come in and resuscitate this young man. So they were talking about they wanted his organs, asking if he was on the organ donor list. Why? When my son is recovering, there's no need to talk about are we going to donate his organs. It's so many African American people that come up missing that never get found. Why? Because are they siphoning organs? Are they trafficking them? You don't know what the fuck is happening. We just, we're talking about 23andMe, about how them selling all of your DNA, all of your data. Not only do they have your name, your social security number, and all of that personal information, but they also have all of your genetic information, and they're selling it. So it's like, what's really going on here? It's so much that's going on behind the veil, and so many issues. We can go from one issue to the next issue to the next issue to the next issue, but for me it's given like a continuous of the same thing. It's nothing but the demise of the republic, the rise of oligarchy, right, is giving, we're moving in a very dangerous territory. We're even going away from oligarchy and into the realms of dictatorship, and people are not recognizing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's this? See, giving and receiving. It's definitely something about what we're getting and versus what we're giving. It's literally like you work and work and work and work, and they are siphoning a good 60 to 70% of your income just through everything that we have to pay. And then there's no more pensions, right? So you don't have any security blanket. People are voting technically against their own interests, and it's not for me to say what anybody's political affiliation is, but when you think about the policies that they're putting in place, it's like, how could you support that in this day? Tennessee, Virginia, a couple of other states around the Southern Belt, they are actually bringing back laws for child marriage. 14, saying that you could, a 40-year-old man, 14-year-old child, what does that do? It reduces like the age of consent. Young girls who are being taken advantage of, they could be married off before they have any level of maturity, have any understanding. It puts them in situations for domestic violence, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's a reason why children don't get married. They're not even old enough to make that type of decision. If you're not a legal adult until 18, why would it be okay for you to get married at 14? This child doesn't even have a high school education. The likelihood for her having a higher education, being able to earn a sustainable income, is very, very low. So if the person that's predatory, a fucking pedophile that would marry a 14-year-old child, you think that they're gonna be kind and generous to this person? No, they're gonna abuse. There is gonna be financial abuse right off the rip. Because where the fuck could she go? She does not have any ability to take care of herself. Right? It absolutely. So please, people in this day, pay attention to the legislation because they don't televise it. We used to be an avid C-SPAN 3 watcher. C-SPAN 3. Okay? On C-SPAN 3, you get to actually watch them legislate. Not get up there and do this politicking and for theater type of shit where one person is talking, just talking points, and they're going back and forth with the arguments. No, we're talking about they actually put the bill out on the table, then they read through the sections, and they talk about what's really in it before they go and vote on it. They don't televise that anymore. People got to wake up and pay attention. It's time for us to use our voice. It's time for us to stand up and to speak powerfully and to speak honestly. I don't know what the steps are in order for us to organize and really push things forward. There could be movements already out there that we can get involved in, that we can interact with, volunteer, and all of that shit. But it's definitely something. So if you are fired up over some of these issues, I suggest, Democracy Now. I think they were on PBS, and they're removing the funding for PBS. They're trying to take PBS off the air. Why? Because of shows like Democracy Now. That's exposing shit, bringing shit out to the forefront, helping people see the light is what it's giving. That's Six of Pentacles. That's what it's giving. It's giving exposure, right? It's like understanding and seeing how can we come together and work differently. How do we do that? I just saw the Three of Wands too. We got the Chariot. We got the Strength. Definitely feeling pulling back our energy is in working in a very powerful way. Even giving partnerships, King of Cups, keeping your emotions balanced, right? Queen of Swords, always willing to learn, to study, but also standing on the knowledge that has already, you've already acquired. Yeah, for the sake of justice. For the sake of justice. Like it's been, too long and too much. And it's like so many of us are suffering. It's like somebody needing to stand in that authority and take the lead. But it's like we can lead individually. Like we don't necessarily have to have one particular person. Like it's been so many assassinations and plots and schemes to keep the public from rising up and really coming together with that collective energy, right? So that we can move things away from all the chaos, right? I don't know if this is a person, but this is you in leadership. Like you leading yourself forward, leading in, like it's giving localized or individual leadership that makes a collective difference, beloved. Yeah. Can you galvanize the energy and help move things forward? And I'm seeing the Seven of Cups is giving confusion. Of course, that Nine of Swords is there. I'm seeing an opportunity that could arise out of the stress, out of the anger, out of the bullshit. That's what I'm getting. Yeah, yeah, they definitely did. And if PBS doesn't get the funding that they need, it would take public support to keep them operating, and the public is not supporting. A lot of the public is into like Fox News or CBS or CNN, all of these networks that just spit out the same fucking rhetoric. It's more like theater than it is news, right? It's a production, it's not journalism, right? Journalism in this country is like, who the fuck are you? A journalist, a good journalist, will follow up on sources and they're going to validate those sources. They're not going to take it from one source. They're going to make sure that this source or this information is supported by other sources. So that way it has fidelity. They don't do that shit these days. You got to fact check what the fuck the news is telling you. How the hell is you listening to a news broadcast like Fox News? They can't even say Fox News anymore. They were sued, so they had to take news out of the fucking name. I don't know which program it was. I don't know if it was Fox and Friends or some of that shit, but one of them, they had to take news out because it's not a news broadcast. None of it is based in fact. They're not doing journalism. It doesn't meet the requirements. Yes, and they examine both sides for balanced reporting. Absolutely. And it's supposed to be non-biased. So how we get these networks that only report on one side of the thing and the other side is like really trying to program your mindset in a particular type of way, that's not news, that's not journalism. Let's see. Leadership. This King of Wands. Leadership. You talking about being strong. You talking about being on fire. You talking about having a vision. You talking about strong and assertive. The ability to talk to people. That again is like using this energy to galvanize. I'm getting there is protection here like that. Lion, look. Okay, that's giving that strength that we saw that strength card. But who is going to be the people that stand up, right? Individual leadership. All of us doing it, but it's given like even being able to corral that energy and target it in specific directions. So it's not scattered energy. We take the advantage and the power when we do it collectively to change things. To end, I'm getting pain and suffering. The injuries that people are experiencing on a daily basis. It shouldn't be like, I don't want to tell your business, so I'm going to do it in a way that I feel like, yeah, that is like general. Michelle Fernandez, Life Mantra Tarot, beautiful soul. She works with autistic children. She is a teacher, or soon to be full blown teacher, but you know, she works with these kiddos. How is it that our educators are the lowest paid, where you need to have multiple sources of income in order to just sustain yourself or just to make a sustainable living, right? That's a profession that you need higher education for. So not only am I, you know, required to pay back these loans to get higher education, but at the same time, you know, I'm not even making what I need to be making when I'm doing the job of educating the populace. That education is what's going to support us moving forward as a country. It affects our overall GDP, what we are producing, what we are, you know, our production per citizen, per capita. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like a whole thing. The all to not value education says something big, says something major. The fact that they're removing certain books that they and subjects that the teachers are not allowed to teach. They don't want you to critically think. They don't even want you to know your history. Just like how we were talking about with the young man with the transatlantic slave trade, right? They don't want you to know your history. They don't want you to know the horrors. They literally just found a mass grave. I think it was in Texas, right? Because after slavery ended, slave patrols, the plantation owners did not have anybody to work the fields. So plantations were failing. They were even trying to write letters to their formerly enslaved people to have them come back and work on the plantation. So, because of the loss of labor, they made just being black itself a fucking crime. So if you felt like I didn't give you respect enough space on the sidewalk and move over out the way, that could be a crime. If I looked you in the face and I didn't look down, I didn't look away, that could be a crime. So anybody could make up anything and it would be a crime. I could be in jail, and once I'm in jail, then they would lease me out to work back on the plantation for free. And the plantation would actually pay the jail, you know, so they're getting money. The prison system, this is how it was instituted to lease out free labor. So does it still happen today? Absolutely. Absolutely. They still put people out there and work today, free prison labor. And the prison industrial complex is big business. It's private. People don't think about that. Yeah. They literally just found a mass grave, like I think it was like 2019, 2020, with all of these people in there, all African American individuals, where they were buried, because from the ages of 14 on up, approximately, they could tell that the skeletons of these young individuals were about the age of 14, being put in prison and leased out. And the life expectancy on that prison was 7 years. They will work you until you were dead and then go get a whole nother crew to come in and replace you, and then bury you in a mass fucking grave. Work you, Eight of Pentacles, until you were dead, and then just get a whole nother crew to replace you. Who feels like that right now? Like, I know we work every motherfucking day. Formerly enslaved gentleman, he said he would happily return for a reasonable wage. I just read that. He actually wrote a letter back. He responded back. He asked him, like, and you can give me all the wages for all the years. Like, if I'm getting paid $28 $20 a month right now, and I've been working for you for 32 years, you can give me $20 a month for the past 32 years, and you can give my wife the same because she worked for you for 20 years. Can you repay us the money for all the free labor we gave you? While you talking about you gonna promise us a good lifestyle over what I'm already getting? I just recently learned that family reunions for the black culture came as a product of slavery. People trying to find their relatives that have been sold off to different plantations to reunite the family. That is where the family reunion came from. Wow. Yeah. Work you until, look. And it's giving taking leadership to change and change and I'm seeing the word metamorphosis, but they won't let me get it out. I'm saying change and evolve. I can't say metamorphosis. They won't let me say it. So it's definitely got to be leadership to change how we're working, how we're expending this energy, how we're organizing. And for me, it's giving something with speaking, giving voice to the anger, speaking powerfully and speaking honestly. Page of Cups. Yeah, I'm hearing it's time to grow up. It ain't no more time for the kid shit. It's like, um, it's something about not being innocent, right? And I'm picking up a transition. It's giving not innocent. It's giving wicked, right? It's giving very negative energy. Yeah, something spontaneous, young, immature, immature. Yeah, it's given like working in an immature fashion because it's spread. It's like impulsive. It is like using the anger and being able to work with the anger, being able to work with the fire. It's even using like the drum, the beating is given like the energy, the resonance. Like it's giving me like a hard heartbeat, like a pounding, a drumming in the chest from the heat, from the fire is what it's giving. I appreciate y'all so much. I do. I appreciate you, sis. Look, the moon. Illusions, allowing things to come up to the surface. I'm hearing peeling back the veil. It's time for people to know. I'm getting the word know. Like it's time for people to know. Spiritual birth. Because there's so many people that don't know. Like the gentleman, Seed of David, that was here. If you're still here, thank you so much. But it's like, it's so many people that don't know. I hear people say like, well, when are African Americans going to improve their economic condition? Right? I'll be so happy when they get up and do this, or they build their own communities. It's like you don't know about all of the communities that were established that have been burnt out, that have been drowned out. You don't know that it's been literally military coups, that people have been literally ran out of their homes because we were prosperous. You don't It's people who don't think that we made any contribution to society. Like they honestly don't know. But it's programming to keep the veil, to keep the illusion, to make some feel superior while they think that others are inferior when we're really all the same. You could not go a day without touching something that was invented by African American people, period. Like you just couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You wouldn't be able to open up your refrigerator. You wouldn't be able to get in the elevator. You wouldn't be able to turn on your flat iron, your hair iron. You wouldn't be able to change the oil in your car. You wouldn't be able to turn these lights on. You wouldn't be able to use your fucking cell phone. Like it's so many things that are like beneath the rug where if we had, equal awareness of all of our contributions, whether it everything that has happened, just a complete history in general, right? If we could work from that place, then we definitely could change things. We could galvanize, we could use this energy to change things. Give voice to your anger. It's definitely giving exposure. Like people need to see, they need to understand. It's giving pulling back the rug. Like everything that's up underneath. You know what I mean? It's something with future. I welcome that. I welcome that in the future. Like the exposure, right? And that's one thing that I am so grateful about being in the age of technology, right? Because they would try to tell us that, people were primitive, that they didn't have civilization, they didn't have society, they didn't have irrigation, they didn't have agriculture, when all that shit is bullshit. We know that we have universities, we know that a lot of these early philosophers like that we attribute so much to, whether it's Plato, whether it's Socrates, they actually plagiarized their work from other individuals. They fucking stole the shit, right? They came over into Africa, as they called it, because that's not the name of the continent, that they came over there to study, to learn. Not only did they learn the mystic arts, all of this which we do in terms of using our spiritual gifts, the magic that we contain, they understand it, they know it, but they stole it and then they changed it. And what, appropriation, it's a whole thing, it ain't nothing new, right? They'll tell you that you didn't contribute anything, but the fucking British Museum is full of artifacts. You think they went over there and bought that shit? Absolutely not. And why is it 2025 and they refuse to give it back to the countries that it belongs to? So how could you do that, right? When you have exactly whitewashed, YT washed YouTube. Anywho, how do you expect a whole set of people to understand and have us connect and collaborate and see each other with compassion and empathy and sympathy when they themselves have been programmed to see you as not human? You were talking about a culture of individuals that were witnessing public execution, right? Some of the most heinous things that you could do to a person. And they started in childhood. Like, people, I can't even imagine taking my child to a public lynching, a public execution, where the whole fucking town come out and watch somebody get beheaded. And we wonder why we cannot connect over certain values. Right, it takes a different type of person to be like, you know what, this shit ain't right. It don't sit right with me. That shit is not okay. Like, I'm going to go a different way. And then when they do that, they get shunned and ostracized because they're feeling like they're a traitor to their own kind. So it's all of these various different systems and separatisms, again, that we talked about that are in play. And it's also the brainwashing and the social conditioning that has taken place over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years that has us in a position where even if you try to, they don't consider us, it's less than human. It's less than human. Even most people do not recognize privilege. They don't recognize, the advantages. They don't recognize, the little things, the subtle things that are boundary crosses and that infringe upon your personal rights. I can't tell you how many times I've had people just try to come up and touch and rub my hair. That shit is so fucking weird. What would you do if I came up and just started petting and rubbing on you? Like, you don't understand it. We were just talking about this and when we were on vacation in Chicago. It's just things that people are not conscious of. If you were in a restaurant and we're sitting at a table, right, our chairs are backed up to each other, so it's hardly any space between us. And the person behind me is doing this. You may not consider that to be rude, but think about the person that's sitting behind you. Think about the fact that here you lose strands. Think about the fact that what you say, they hate it when you balance the scales. Yeah. It is an illness. YT supremacy is mental illness. It is. It is complete mental brainwashing that has taken place over hundreds of years. But we suffer from that same type of social conditioning, just on the other side of the scale. It's a thing with, I think, unworthiness and always needing to be defensive over self, right? You know what I mean? Over your own autonomy. And even those who seek to assimilate and conform because they just don't want to deal with the social issue. And those who do rise to a certain level, it's like they think that they now have acquired another set of supremacy over others who are not doing what they are doing. And then they could sit in that same type of judgmental position. Tower moment. Bring down the fucking system. I didn't say that aloud. Yes, we did. Give voice to your anger today. That's what Spirit said. See, what is it giving? What is it giving? That's the challenge, giving and receiving. Look, we talk about inspiration and motivation on this day. Like, can we get it? Can we catch it? Can we take that wand and move forward and do something with it? You know what I mean? Yeah. I got a video of me, my two sissies. We were at dinner, you know, restaurant, it's tight, close proximity. And she was getting so upset because the woman behind her was absolutely clueless to the fact that she was literally beating my sister up with her hair. Like, just flipping it all over the place. And we thinking, like, you don't think that that's rude? How could you not feel it when you hitting another person with your hair? But think about that the next time you out and you doing that and you were not paying attention. It's like a mindless thing, like, especially in a restaurant. Most dust is nothing but hair and skin. So, look. This, okay. Let's get this, and we're gonna wrap it up, y'all. Give voice to your anger. Speak powerfully. Speak honestly. Super skilled is coming through. Somebody is talented, and you may have a knack for leadership. You may be an activist with this Page of Wands. You may be somebody that is to be inspirational and motivating to do something to bring about some sort of change, right? We can be trash to some, but we're definitely treasure to some. Not everybody is gonna appreciate you. Not everybody is gonna see your value. That doesn't mean it changes anything about you. You gotta know that you are whole, you are complete. There's nothing broken and there's nothing missing, and you damn sure worthy, beloved. That's what it's giving. Yeah. Welcome you to the kingdom. I'm hearing new earth energy. Right, new earth. It's bothering a lot of people, and I feel energy galvanizing because we are tired of the past system and the oppression, the suppression, and the depression. All of it. It's time to get rid of it. Yeah. Trust the process. I'm definitely getting things are changing. We are moving towards a brighter day, is what it's giving. And sometimes it gets real dark before it gets dawn. So it's, yeah, I'm picking up darkness, right? And we're already going down that road. It's, you know, a powerful group, women, right? Considering that our rights are being stripped from us as a whole, just if we remove ethnicity, if we remove that and we just look at ourselves as the gender collective of women, that you don't have autonomy over your body. You never had autonomy. Never. Right? Never had autonomy. Moving from being sold off, basically, right? Because soon-to-be husband or suitor had to come with a dowry to pay your family in order to have you as a wife. So your family essentially sold you into a marriage that was arranged for economic benefit. That's generally the history. Then since then, like, we didn't have ability to have a bank account. You couldn't own property. You didn't even have the right to work unless you were enslaved, right? Like, you know, some shit like that. Like, very limited ability to earn income for yourself, right? None of that. And then it gets all the way up to the 50s where we could start having a bank account or getting the right to vote or some shit like that, and then being able to, you know, earned some privileges since then. But you still don't have a right over your body, right? The medical institute or the doctor has more autonomy or authority over you than anybody. It's literally like the understanding that you are owned by the state. If I am 23 years old, my daughter, she's 28, 29, how old is she? I'm 48, so she's 29. She is a person that has never wanted children. She's been saying that, and she's almost 30, and she's still saying that I don't want kids. Right? I think in her past life she died in childbirth, and she's scarred. She came in with it like, I do not want children, and she actually has a scar down here by her fallopian tube. So I'm like, maybe that's like your past fatal wound. Like, if something happened during childbirth, which you have an abhorrent, like, she has a visceral reaction to the thought of even getting pregnant. Like, she is not even a question. But the thing about it is, and not only does she have that, but she has, what is it? I think PCOS or something like that, where she has very, very hard, tough menstrual cycles. Like, she gets incredibly sick every month. They don't consider that as a sickness or an illness where it's accommodated at work. She has lost employment because she runs out of sick days because she cannot physically do it. Right? She's so ill. She can't eat. She's throwing up. Like, the whole fucking nine. So, considering she doesn't want kids and what her menstrual cycle does to her every month, do you think the doctors will allow her to have a hysterectomy and remove her shit? No. They're telling her she don't fucking know how she feels about her body or her goals for her life or what she wants. You might want some later, so we're just gonna, if she wants some later, she can adopt. There's other options to parenthood. But if she's ill and it's causing her, it's like a disability for her at this point, why the fuck should she not be able to make the decision for her own health and longevity to be able to have this procedure to improve the quality of her life? Those are her fucking fallopian tubes. That's her uterus. Why the fuck can't she take it out if she elects to? You can have people change fucking genders. Gender reassignment, but I can't elect to have my fucking fallopian tubes and my uterus taken out when I'm getting sick and damn near dying every fucking month. I'm bleeding out fucking pints and I can't get up and go to work. You don't want to cover it as a disability, and you don't want to help me. You just telling me I just have to sit in this condition and fucking suffer. No, thank you. Yeah. Oh man, I'm telling you, give rise to your anger. Flashing lights is here. I'm hearing police car. Oh, we don't talk about that, but Spirit said yes. Flashing lights. What is the visceral response you get when somebody is getting ready to get pulled over? Do they think that trauma is already present? That a person already automatically freaks the fuck out? And soon, you could feel it before they even pull out behind you. Oh shit, I know they finna come and get me. I know it. I know it because I done been there personally. That feeling that comes over you when you getting ready to get pulled over by a police officer because you don't know how the fuck this shit gonna go. I could get a good one today that's like, give me a warning and going on about your way. I could get one that's just on fucking one, period. I just watched this video with this lady who is a fucking federal officer. And if she had not been in her uniform, she probably wouldn't be alive. Yeah, every day, even when you driving safely, it is the fear. It is the anxiety. That shit is PTSD. It's complex PTSD. It is, and it comes from living in a society that criminalizes your right to just be. And it's spreading across society. It's so many YT people I'm seeing get brutalized by the police. They're starting to experience these hyper militarized police force that is now operating in the U.S. And did y'all see that Donald is trying to deploy the fucking National Guard, not only taking over D.C., but he's trying to send them to Chicago. He's threatening to send the National... Man, look. If folks don't wake up and see what the hell is going on in this country, we gonna be fucked. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to wake up. It's time to see what's really going on behind the surface. There is a process that we can use to bring about change. What is it? I can't tell you I know in this day. But I know it starts with us saying something. It starts with us using this energy, this anger of getting fucked and screwed over all the goddamn time to do something to take our power back. They fucking work for us. We the people. Again, if we all decide to stand up and the whole motherfucking country decide that we're not going to work for 2 motherfucking weeks, these motherfuckers could live off their profits because they making enough with their gluttonous processes and how look, we could shut this bitch down. I'm just saying. France did it. 2-3 weeks with no motherfucking work. I'm just not going. None of us, ain't nobody going. Fuck you. I'm not doing it. No. You have the keys. We got the key. We have the key. We got it. It's in our hands. But if we don't galvanize, if we don't figure out a way to remove and blur the lines of separatism and collectively come together and use our energy and our power, then we will stay in the same conditions. And they profit off us being separate, period. Monica says, what is it? Sade spoke to this. She mentions James Baldwin, who said those who have thought it could never be will feel it or eventually feel it. There are so many whistleblowers. Yes. Yes. And I just showed, where is it? I see it. Give me 2 seconds. Simply because you just mentioned James Baldwin, right? And I thought about it because look, the fire next time, and we're talking about this fire energy, we're talking about anger, right? Here's W.E.B. Du Bois, The Souls of Black Folk, right? I read this and I wasn't necessarily in line with his whole opinion, right? But it was a very good read to see how they were thinking in that day. But this right here, whew, baby, this is another good read, and I just was like sharing it with my niece over the summer because we had her of course, school. She's going into middle school. She's never even fucking heard of Malcolm X. I have a book of like black inventors and like everything teaching our history because the kids are not going to get it in school. If you don't supplement your kids' education at home, just in general, and it's not just black history, it's our history. It's American history. We are Americans. I actually just bought a new dictionary, both of them are Webster, and it's like elementary level, like middle school. Like I think it's like to 8th grade is like the dictionary. Because unfortunately, a lot of people in the U.S. have only about an 8th grade education. So that's when we are communicating, you want to be able to speak to your audience and speak to them in terms of ways that makes them feel comfortable and that they understand what you're saying, right? So you have to be cognizant of that. I also just bought an etymology dictionary. So it helps us understand the origin of a word and what did it originally mean. Like American originally meant the indigenous people that lived in the Americas. So that would be indigenous Africans and natives and Hispanics that were already occupying the land. So it makes me chuckle every time I hear somebody say, "Make America great again." I'm like, do they think about that the Americans were us brown people that they keep telling us to go the fuck back to somewhere we've never fucking been? Like, do they? No, because they don't know the meaning of the word. But that's a manipulation. It's the manipulation. Where are you? It's dark psychology. Is manipulation. Here it is. It is a part of the 48 laws of power that this manipulation is taking place. It's very insidious and is definitely on purpose. So we're going to get this one out. It feels like it's stuck to another book. They've been sitting here. Oh, they're pulling both of them. I don't know why they're pulling this used as a tool and a weapon against people, right? We do know that. But it's this. How to analyze people, dark psychology, manipulation, and protection. Right? It is literally dark psychology. Like, this is a whole discipline. Right? This is what's going on behind the scenes. We can start to question, like, why after the Cold War did all of those scientists why were they all brought to the Americas? Like, for what? Because all of that shit is sanctioned, right? It is what's really happening behind the veil. Put that back. Put the moon back, because we got the moon and the sun. The moon. Oops. Hopefully, we're going to find out what's happening, because that just fell down. And we got the sun. So put the sun on top of the moon so we can see some shit. They can expose some shit. They can reveal some shit. We can be empowered to change some shit, to do some shit, change this anxiety and this stress that we've been living in. And Spirit said we have the keys to do it. One of the most powerful things that we have is our voice and our energy. To raise your voice against anger, to give voice to the anger, to do it powerfully and to speak honestly. It's giving speaking truth to power. Anger is a very galvanizing emotion, but if we don't use it, then it just festers, beloved. And it festers, it turns into resentment, it turns into bitterness, it turns into incels and infighting. Yeah, the Nazi scientists who the U.S. snatched up after World War II offered them fresh starts in exchange for their knowledge. Absolutely. 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 Yeah, they definitely went into a very loving relationship, didn't they? Yeah, that's the secret. That's the shit that people don't know. That's what they don't know. And so when we see today the continual rise of neo-Nazi, the fact that the terrorist groups in the country are not criminalized, they're not disbanded. The KKK is still going very strong, beloved. Like, they are still alive and they're still active. And they have many branches. Of course, we've seen some of that shit on J6, which is completely dismissed. And the people that instituted insurrection, and it's really a coup, a capital offense, right? They're pardoned. There's no what? They had a guillotine. A guillotine? Are you fucking kidding me? You talking about people, if that had been a crowd of black folks out there, we'd have been shot the fuck up. There's nowhere on God's green earth in this country right here, the United States of America, that the corporation, my bad, because it's not a country, right? But for a mob of African American people to do what they did on J6 and it not be a fucking massacre out there. We could never even feel emboldened enough to do that. Why? Because we have been taught that level of insurrection and social uprising is completely unacceptable. We could go into cities where we fucking live at and tear some shit up and riot, but you talking about going down to the Capitol and do that? Never. The last time it was that many people down there marching, it wasn't for Martin, it was the Million Man March, and it was peaceful, always been peaceful. We get attacked for being at peace, peaceful protesting. But let them go in there and fucking attack the Capitol, break in there, threaten representatives and senators with bodily harm, looking through confidential top secret documents, shit like that. The national security risk on that day was astounding. Astounding. And for nothing to happen, and the people that did get arrested, fucking pardoned and released. You tell me, what is the messaging that's coming from the commander at this. What is he saying? It's a sanction on that type of action. All while you're telling other people that they don't have a right to rise up. You want to send a fucking National Guard into places where people are protesting in the cities, but you allow them to do that shit on J6 and then pardon the ones that got locked up and let them out. Yeah, that sends a very strong message. It's two Americas, and it always has been. I wouldn't give a fuck what flag they fly. We live in a fucking Confederacy, okay? Because if you are a country that was defeated in war, and for it still to be legal to fly that fallen flag, you would be considered a traitor to the current country. This country does not operate like anything else across the globe, period. Period. Go over there and try to fly a fucking Soviet Union flag right now in Russia and see what the fuck happened. Just saying. I don't know if it's the same flag. I feel like it's not. But I don't feel like that shit would fly. I don't think Putin would like that very much. I'm just saying. He might. I'm just saying. It's just the principle. I don't believe, I have never understood why it was still legal to fly the Confederate flag. That is a fallen country. It is not a part of the U.S. So why would we ever be allowed to, man, look. Can we break up? I'm just saying. Can we break up? Right? Can we talk about it though? I'm just saying, let's talk about it. Look, no more, we gotta figure out a different way to do this shit. Something like this shit is broken. Like, the collaboration is not there. Like, we don't know how to come together as different groups of people and act in our own collective self-interest. We will put, you talking about party over country, you talking about just skin deep over country, just trying to, I don't know if it's stick to your own, like all of this superficial shit. People have truly bought into it, hook, line, and sinker, seriously brainwashed and conditioned that we don't have the same interests. Everybody wants access to life and liberty, the pursuit of happiness, to have autonomy over themselves, to not have their rights infringed upon, right? To not be harassed, to not be terrorized, not to be victimized, right? It's not to be abused in any way, shape, or form or fashion, not to be taxed to death where you don't have anything left at the end of the day, and the social networks and services that are designed to help you and to support you are all being ripped away. That is not, this is not the American dream. This is a fucking nightmare. A nightmare. Yeah. And that's definitely giving it to me negative, like in reverse. It is not the land of opportunity. It's not. It's actually the land of mass indentured servitude, for which you have to work until you're at least 65, damn near 70, to be released from. And then figure out how you're going to make it, provided you had enough income to set something to the side. And then you get penalized if you did it, and tell you should have just lived without, you should have just had more restrictions. You should have had more discipline. Really? 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 You talking about table issues? You have one candidate that's telling you how they're gonna help you save more money, give you help for children, school age, prescription drugs, medical costs, because a lot of people who are homeless go homeless because they can't afford medical bills, not because they don't want to work. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Something has to shift with this tower moment, Queen. You're absolutely right. How could it ever be set right when we're walking and living on stolen land? And sometimes I feel like it is stolen because, I mean, there's really no ethical way of engaging in war. It's really not. Right? We have rules of engagement, but they break that shit all the fucking time. False flag operations, covert, guerrilla warfare, chemical warfare, biological warfare. And these things have been happening for centuries, for hundreds of years. To be a global citizen, allowing our common humanity and divinity to unite us. Yes, circumstances, improve circumstances for all. And that's the thing. How can we come together over our common humanity when groups of people have been literally brainwashed to not see our humanity? They don't see you as a person. And they don't even understand why they can't, right? It's because the hundreds of years of brainwashing and social conditioning that are at play. Passing that shit down from generation to generation to generation. Like, that's what it is. That's what's happening. So, how do we change it if we are not even able to speak to each other, to learn from one another, to they're making it illegal for you to even learn your history so that they can't teach it to the younger generation and they come out thinking differently. Oh no, they are contributors to society. Oh no, they did have healthy and thriving and prosperous, wealthy communities, right? They did have wholeness in families. It wasn't the broken family structure that we see. Oh yeah, yeah. In the 80s, there was a campaign from the CIA that pumped drugs, crack cocaine into the black communities. That it was sanctioned by the government, that experimentation, medical experimentation, has been sanctioned by the government. That military coups going into places like Wilmington to block people out from the ballot box to keep them from holding office or for being able to vote was sanctioned by the government. That bombing of towns and shooting up individuals was sanctioned by the government. They'll tell you that they've never bombed on a U.S. town when they definitely have. They have. It's a lie. And all of the atrocities, all of the loss of income, generational wealth, and they still say that we are wrong to ask for reparations? How? Not only were we forcibly, some that were already living here enslaved, but also the slave trade that took place on top of that, separated from your heritage, from your culture. You don't have your language, you have nothing to reach back to, completely separated. We are a whole different breed. We are some of the only ones that have that level of separation, of severing from your ancestry. And then people look at you crazy when you want to reconnect to it and tell you you're doing something wrong, like that, like I'm wrong for not being a Christian, when Christianity was built off of everything that's in our ancestry. Like, it's not a new theology to Africa. It's just been changed and morphed through the rewriting and the revising. Yeah, not just their children, but the children can influence their parents. Yeah. It's a lot of people that shun their parents and walk away from them because they like, we can't do that. A lot of conversation has been going on in the Hispanic community about racism. Not only do they have a strong caste system in terms of the darker you are, the less valuable or less attractive you are. We know that, but it's also like them going through the process of trying to lighten their whitewash themselves, basically. Like, if you marry a Caucasian person, then you're improving the race, and that is a mentality. That is a mentality. I personally feel like we're seeing that the same thing in the black culture, right? And we see colorism, right? The lighter a person is, especially a woman, the more attractive she is. She's deemed to be more attractive. She has more privileges. She gets more help. She gets more empathy. She gets more sympathy, right? If you are a dark-skinned woman, oh, you get nothing. You have to be exceptionally, astoundingly beautiful and with your skin tone in order for them to recognize you. It's just true. It's facts. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. Black women are one of the most highly educated demographics in the country, and we take hella shit. Hella shit. We don't get protection from our own black men who don't support us. Right? They'll sit there and listen to other people berate us. They will talk shit about us and be the most disrespectful. Right? And then make you feel like you're not worthy. You could have all these accomplishments. You could be willing to help them in any kind of way and be supportive, and you don't get nowhere near as the same respect as a Latina woman. She's just as spicy. She's just as assertive. She's just as outspoken. She has just as much fire, if not more. But she is honored for that, where we get slack, we get disrespect. Yeah, we know that. Thank you, Queen. Yes, it is colorism at its finest, sis. But this is just the things that, my spirit is feeling. It's the anger at the societal conditions for which we live in, and us being so scattered by all of these superficial things that really mean nothing. And it keeps us from coming together as a collective and standing in our power and moving forward to change things. Again, like we said, that common humanity, our common divinity. Here's the thing that bothers me the most. Yeah, we definitely see vision. I'm here and waiting on the world to change. That's what I just heard. Look, that inspiration coming through, right? Somebody need to get fired up. I feel like we all do. If we believe that we are divine beings, like that the Christian Bible says, we are all children of the Most High, right? We are all the children. Do you that my soul is immortal? That it was existing before I manifested in a physical body? Then what gender is my soul? What ethnic background is my soul? We're demonized for standing up for ourselves and living in our power. Absolutely, sis. Absolutely. Black men, Monica says, black men can be with the white woman, the white women of black people. They lack intersectionality. Yes. Oh my goodness. Intersectionality. They are so disrespected. Queen says they are so disrespected and misaligned that they felt they had to become our enemy to have any of those shiny things. Yeah. And I think fear still rules today. Fear still rules today. Like, it's given, like, so many people have said it's a thing, right? We don't want revenge. Nobody wants revenge. We just want equality. And equality did not necessarily mean integration. It meant that our schools are funded the same way white T schools are funded. That we have protection in our communities the same way that white T people had protection in their communities. That we had the same opportunity to housing and to employment and the ability to generate wealth and legacy the same as anybody else. That's equality, right? And equality doesn't mean that I just get the equal of this or equal that. If I'm fucking this tall and I can't fucking, and I can see over the fence, like, I'm right here, I might just need a little lift to see over. If you all the way down here, you might need a bigger thing so that you can see over, right? That's being that now we both have an equal purview in terms of what we're looking at. It is difference, right? It's equity. It's like, I didn't necessarily have to go sit in somebody's restaurant that was gonna make me feel like less of a person and make me walk through the fucking back door while I'm trying to spend my coin just to get something to eat or something to drink. What I wanted was a safe neighborhood where we can have our own restaurants, where we feel welcome and warm and circulate our own dollar within our own economy. And every time that happens, you come in and you fuck it up. You tell me that I'm not allowed to have it. Oh, well, beat me up by saying that I don't got it. It's a double entendre. It's a double-edged sword, and I'm getting sliced on both sides. Queen says, basically, forsake God for the world, knowing that not they have lost all rights to any inheritance in abundance spiritually. It's definitely given a recompense. It is. Right? I don't know how the Most High God is going to place any judgment. That's not my place, to try to even ascertain. I have no idea. We just speak in truth to power on this day. To have the discussion, right? And I do feel like karma balances everything. Like the scale is going to be balanced, where the last shall be first and the first shall be last. Shit always turns around, beloved. It always turns around. Yes, yes. Oklahoma City. Yeah, I wonder, do I have the book right here? Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. It might be one of these. I don't see it. It may be in the basement on the bookshelf, but we had the book on Wilmington. It was one of the first, or a very significant, prominent coup where the Navy was involved in terms of implementing voter suppression to remove black men, because black women still didn't have the vote. We didn't get our vote to 60s, like 64, 65 or some shit. But black men had their right to vote, and they were exercising it, and they were being elected to public office, right, under the Republican Party. Right, so the Republican Party at the time had the mindset that if we allow them to come into the economy, then we can benefit off of that. That's the GDP, right? We're earning more. At the time, Democrats did not support us coming together or coming into the economy or the political system or any of that. So there's definitely been a change in the political environment. But honestly, the only thing that happened is that both parties are working on the same agenda. They just do it differently. That's it. That's why nothing ever fucking changes, no matter who's elected. What did you say, Queen? Yeah, some do know, and it's written. Duet 7. Can't shake hands with the devil and come out clean. But look, I'm just saying, right? So some of the other books, the Wilmington book on that coup, that was sanctioned and planned and helped carried out by the U.S. Navy in Wilmington. We have that. I think it's downstairs on our shelf, but it's not on this one right here, so we can't necessarily show it to you without running to the basement. But here's one. If you ever studied this and read this, the psychology behind it is just insidious. It's absolutely insidious. This is a piece of history that you will never hear about, right? And so that is like, Barack, I'm sorry, bro, but unfortunately you were not the first, right? There were a few before you that we don't know about. This is just more about, our history across the globe. If you study the Moors, and you'll know. Here's another one that we just had on the shelf. This is just in there. This is another very good read. So if somebody is trying to, just educate themselves on that historical time period. And then here's another one by Carter G. Woodson, the miseducation of the Negro. I also have the post-traumatic slave disorder, post-traumatic slave syndrome. And when you read that book, give me a second, I got to get it. They're telling me to get it. I got to get it. 2 seconds. Don't go away. Don't leave. Yep, because we still got a pen in here, so it's something that they may want to say, right? And this book explains the double-edged sword of like how this time period in history affected us as a people as well as our white tea counterparts, right? Because they were indoctrinated and they were socially conditioned over the same time period as we are. So when we look at having compassion for one another and understanding, like Queen said, our common humanity and our common humanity and our divinity, right? We can understand why some can't see it and why it's so important to reconnect to it. So let's just see where we were at. Oh, look. Just look at that. Planning to fail. What were we reading on? Should we read this to this and then that's it? Okay. A black couple bears the same burdens that any couple bears, finding gainful employment to support themselves, establishing a strong base from which to raise healthy children, carving out time to escape life's daily hassles and rekindle tender bonds of affection. Time to simply do life in the best possible way. However, they have some additional baggage given to them by family long gone. Old, dirty, and heavy baggage that needs to be repaired and discarded. Nowadays, it seems as though black couples are fighting to stay afloat. And I'm giving, like, that's all of us. All of us are fighting to stay afloat. It says, like salmon, we are battling against incredible odds to survive and grow. Regardless of whom we choose as mates to accompany us on our journeys, anyone will be swimming upstream. And I'm starting to remove black from this because unfortunately the conditions of society has been extended out to all of us. Out to all of us. So any couple bears the same we all bear the same burdens. And the burden is to find gainful employment to support ourselves, to establish a strong base to raise our children in a healthy manner, to carve out time to escape the daily hassle of life and to rekindle tender bonds of affection, to simply do life in the best way possible. And that's what we said, the pursuit of happiness, liberty, right? Freedom to just be and to grow and to experience our highest potentiality. However, we all have additional baggage given to all of us by families long gone. Old, dirty, and heavy baggage that needs to be repaired or even discarded. Nowadays, it seems that we, as individuals, as couples, as family, as society, we are all fighting to stay afloat. Like salmon, we are all battling against incredible odds to just survive and to grow. So if we can't survive and grow, then getting to the point of thriving is very difficult, right? Regardless of whom we choose to accompany us, who we choose to connect to, who we move forward with life with on this journey, all of us will be swimming upstream, beloved. All of us are swimming upstream. So this is not even anymore just a racial issue. This is a societal issue. This is a people issue. And if we be the people, then we can take inspiration and motivation to do things differently, to release the hypocrisy, to release the manipulation that would tell us that we're separate, that we're different. All the things that have us overlook our common humanity and our eternal divinity. If my soul be eternal, then it existed before I manifested in this vessel. Therefore, my soul has no ethnicity. It has no gender. Which is why I love one of the lines in that Christian text that says, "For the Most High God is not a man that it should lie." So why do we attribute a gender to it? It's not a man. It is the essence of who we are. We are a pixel, a piece of the divine itself. And if all of us be made in divinity, then maybe it's time to recognize that not only in each other, but also in ourselves. Thank y'all so much for tapping in for this episode of the Tears of Wheat Tarot Show, where you show enough never know what you're going to get. Spirit said, give voice to your anger, and to do it powerfully and to do it honestly, beloved. I don't know who's going to need to hear it, but it's given that people do. And I'm getting like, if you get going and doing these things, you'll run into other people who feel exactly like you. See, Ten of Cups. You'll find people who feel just like you. And it's given that they will work with you, right? You guys will be able to do something for a very, very long time. The effort and the impact will be long lasting, right? Definitely long lasting. And it will help bring balance and peace. And it's given to the collective, to all of us. Five of Cups is next. It's given for all of us so that we can release the energy of remorse and regret. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Absolutely. I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. I am something that you never understand. No need to worry. No need to lie. Sorry. I'm hearing. I would die for you. Hey, darling, if you want me to, you. I now recognize why women is not mentioned much or instructed on much how to maintain purity. Yeah, because you were written out of that, beloved. It should be the mother, the father, and the child, not the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You can't get a child without a mother, beloved. Nothing in nature says that. It is completely against natural law to do that. But you can have a child without a father. You can have that. So if there are ones that want to institute patriarchy, right? Strip away your rights. Oh yeah, absolutely. Good old patriarchy. You wonder why they mentioned the fig tree in the Bible. Go study that. How do fig trees get pollinated? Go study that. It's very eye opening. Yeah, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Go study that, beloved, please and thank you. Ceaseless is here, and you have ceaseless and unmeasurable power, is what the Spirit said. What's behind that? What they give us? Didn't we say this? The last shall be first. Things always turn around, beloved. They do. They always turn around. And the time is now. So if this sounds like it's for you, use your voice now. You never know what you could do. You never know what you could do. I always think about the Mothers Against Drug Driving. When that energy rises up and you can galvanize, look, ain't no telling what you could do. Meditate. Allow it to sit in your spirit. The spirit to tell you what you could do. Look, divine feminine coming through. I know, Alpha. Wrote you out right on out the text, right? Trying to cover up the realness. Look, you are a leader of divine beings. A leader? You are a leader of divine beings? Come on now. Come on now. Come on with this thing. Parthenogenesis is real. As a female, I don't have to have semen in order to become impregnated with a child. I just don't. And if you want to get down into it, the X chromosome is submissive, or is the X chromosome is dominant to the Y chromosome. It's dominant. The Y chromosome is recessive. It is a mutation of the X. People don't really understand that. They don't. Spirit said you are a divine leader. And you definitely could be feminine. See this right here, energy, it's just energy. You just mastered it. You definitely are a very strong leader. Right? It's saying that you have everything that it takes. And your spirit team says that we believe in you. Something with that yellow giving exposure, right? The sun energy that we saw, right? And look, Guardian in the galaxies, known and unknown. It's so much that we don't know about. And here's that speaking that truth. Spirit said, voice to your anger. Speak powerfully and speak honestly. That's what they said. So what social issue, what soapbox issue, what table issue has you fired up on this day? Me is being ripped off, period, in every fucking capacity. I'm over it. And I'm very interested in learning on how we can use our voice, not only platform, but voice in a very strong way to organize to help me bring change. What's the problem to a miracle? What is the problem to a miracle? When M comes before P in the alphabet, remember you are the miracle. You are it. And you can do some amazing things if you believe it. I love you. Again, I do. I love you just like I love me, because that's my capacity. It's growing and expanding on a daily. And I thank you so much for being here and growing and expanding with us, Wheat. I love you just like I love the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the ending that made all things. all things did it make. It spoke its word that moves on the breath. So the breath and the word are a product of the Alpha and the Omega that spoke it, that called it, that decreed it to be living, living, breathing. That be you, we, the living and breathing word. Don't let anybody tell you anything differently. To the next now. This one's done. Ashe, beloved.